rolling. We hating, controlling, trying to get me right and dirty.
That's a throwback. I love it.
I just aged
Is
myself.
that Chameleonaire?
Oh my gosh. See, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Is that right?
What do you think Chameleonaire's up to these days?
That's a good question. We should call him.
We should see.
We should call him.
Search it. Yeah.
Welcome to In the Round, a podcast for people who love music and genuine conversation. Join us as we sit down with some of our favorite local, regional, and national artists to chat about life and their creative journeys. I'm Dee, I'm a musician, I'm a music lover, and I'm your host. Our next guest, James Tutson, is an absolute treat. He's been putting out sweet and soulful tunes for over a decade, culminating in his latest album, Fool for You. We talk about his upbringing and the artists that influenced him, favorite movie soundtracks, overcoming vocal setbacks, his experience on The Voice, stage presence, and so much more. Get comfy and enjoy our chat with James Tutson. James Tutson, welcome to In the Round.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We are so glad you're here. Again, I've been stalking you for months, so thank you for taking the time to come in.
Glad I had some.
Come in and chat with us. Yeah. And I should say, when you're playing full band, you were here solo today, but when you're playing full band, you go by James Tutson in the rollback.
I actually don't anymore.
Do you not?
Yeah. Just James Tutson.
Just James.
Yeah.
I like
just
that.
James. Yeah.
Just James. Maybe you should go by just James.
I could. I'll think about it.
No, I love that. No, that's great. I was curious about that because I wanted to ask, because you do play kind of both.
I do, yeah. I play quite a bit with a band, quite a bit solo. So,
yeah.
Just made sense to just be like, it's me.
It's me.
It's me. Sometimes I'm with other people.
I love that. You can be like James Tutson in the sometimes with some homies. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's great. And anyone should see you regardless of lineup. You are so incredible solo.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely rapturing. Enraptured am I when I see you play. In both solo or full band, truly. You have a very prolific line of albums and EPs that you've put out. Totally incredible. I mean, stepping back to, I think it was 2011 you started kind of dropping songs.
Yeah. It's been a while, like not everything is gold. But
not all that glitters is gold.
Yeah,
you
just start. You know what I mean? Everybody's just got to start. You know, and start recording and doing things. I had really generous friends that basically offered to pay for my first record. Because they're like, hey, you should do something with this. And I'm like, and they're like, how about if we pay for it? And I was like, now
you're speaking my language.
Now that's an idea. So I did a Kickstarter and they funded it pretty much immediately. So I had to start. So
yeah. Wow. What a show of support of people being like, we want to pay you for this right now. You have to do it. Mm-hmm. Wow. And you didn't, we should back up. You are an incredible soul and R&B artist, and you have lots of kind of influences. There's different artists. Absolutely Leon Bridges, I hear out of you, of course. Otis Redding, Black Pumas, we were talking about Bahamas today. Mm-hmm. Like, hear a lot of that. But you didn't actually pick up a guitar. You've been singing forever, but you didn't pick up a guitar till college?
Till college, yeah.
Wow.
And I only did so because I had a friend, still in Iowa City, great musician named J.J. Alberhesky, who was a folk player. And I used to go to his shows, and he was like, you should sing with me. So I was like, I'm not a folk singer, but I'll come sing folk with you. So I wanted to learn how to play guitar, so I started learning acoustic, and first thing I learned was how to play folk music.
Okay.
So, and then one of the first artists I listened to was Amos Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Who was sort of like, you got kind of the folk in there, but a little soul in his voice.
Yeah.
So I used to call myself folk soul, and that's kind of where I started, is playing acoustic guitar, kind of folk style, and trying to sing some soulful music over it. So it's developed over the years, but...
yes. No, I was going back through your catalog, which again it's like a really fun journey. You put out an EP in 2014, Red Hot Riot.
I did.
And that still slaps, man, I will say.
It's fun. It's very poppy.
Yes, no, it's like a Hosier vibe almost to me. Like it's got these like anthem style kind of like syncopated hit pop. Yeah, pop, like poppy.
I could barely sing then too. I had like nodes, and I remember being in the studio in Washington D.C. and being like, I can barely sing these songs. Like I have to like take breaks and whatever. So it's kind of a trip for me to listen to my voice then and my voice now and see how it's different. But
wow,
it was a fun one. That was a really fun project that I did with a couple friends. And a lot of my old friends will request songs from the record. And I'm like, I couldn't play those if I tried. If I started to play it, it would fail immediately. So yeah.
Yeah, when you've been playing as long as you have, it is hard. There are same spot. Like we put out an EP in 2010 or 2011. I probably couldn't for the life of me play those songs.
It's fun to put on sometimes, just to you know, reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, no, but I found the journey of what you've put out really interesting because again, you had that kind of poppy EP, and then it flips to On Me, which is like more acoustic and folky and. Yeah, it really seemed.
I do research.
I did. Oh yeah, I deep dive,
like
baby.
I don't think anyone's ever done research on me.
You're very researchable.
Actually,
thank you for being so prolific.
My friend's kid, she'll send me screenshots of her phone, and it'll be searches on Google like, when did James Tutson start singing? Because they listen to my record. And so that's the other person. It's a 6-year-old or 7-year-old
I love it.
Who does research on me sometimes.
They should just be the new host. We should bring him on and he could interview.
He's got skills. Yeah.
That would actually be adorable.
It'd be fun.
We should probably do that. Well, and I do like to, you know, kind of see the roots of where someone's coming from because you grew up singing in church and, you know, kind of a similar different church, but similar vibe is kind of my trajectory.
Yeah.
And I always think it's interesting to see where someone lands because
for sure.
Especially learning guitar, like more folk guitar, but then coming because what did you listen to when you were little?
Oh yeah, I mean Stevie Wonder, Bill Withers, you know, Lauryn Hill,
oof,
everybody, Aaliyah, like a lot of R&B and old school soul. Yeah, my house was very much that. And of course, gospel. You know what I mean? Like all these old sort of gospel hymns and stuff. A lot of my family's from Mississippi. And so they sing like the oldest, slowest gospel songs you can think of. And they take like 20 minutes for one song. So a lot of that. Yes,
Lord.
exactly.
You're like,
and I'm like, oh my God. How are you holding the note for that one?
Yeah, like what is that breath?
Exactly.
You can
breath control. Yeah. So you know, there are several artists that I still have blind spots on because you know I'm like I've never heard of this group because I'm like I was only listening to soul and R&B for my entire childhood. You know what I mean? So catching up on a lot of artists that aren't in that genre that are guitar players that you can learn from or styles that people say like, oh, you know who I hear a little bit of this, and I'm like, oh, I got to do some research on who that is because I'm not familiar. So anyway,
you're like Pink Pony. What?
Exactly. I do know Chaparral. Those are bangers.
It would be almost impossible to not know.
My mom would probably play that too. So I'll say that.
Hey, a bop's a bop. A hit is a hit. Like there's nothing. So but that's kind of what I heard even as your records developed because On Me was acoustic and folky and then On Hope is much more vibey, kind of like settling in and finding your sound, I feel like. And that came out in 2017. So again, we're talking about very prolific, you know, tenured experience of like putting out music, which I also think is impressive being, you know, Midwest-based musician. You're from Iowa. Born and raised Iowa?
No, actually from California originally.
Oh, got that Cali vibe.
Yeah, you could probably feel that.
I do.
I
Feel the
moved here when I was
sunshine.
like 4, but I still have a little bit of that. No.
You don't forget the ocean.
Yeah, you know for sure. But yeah, so on Hope, there's a little bit, I started playing with some, the Rollback at the time, who a lot of them have like history in rock and roll. Like one of the guys played for a band called Giants that was sort of like Explosions in the Sky.
Oh, whoa,
like just
cool.
like, you know, I don't want to call it experimental rock, but like instrumental rock. There you go. My bassist at the time was from like a punk scene.
Oh, fun.
And I really like, that was another band I was introduced to as an adult is The Killers.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this is a great band.
Right.
And I was like, what if I could bring a little bit of that like rock and roll into some of the sound too? It worked out some. Yeah. And some it didn't. Like I said, it's all, you know, it's all in the journey to get to kind of where your sound is. But I was into a lot of those bands that my friends would listen to, the Killers and the Shins and the, you know, like some of those kind of alternative rock groups, Modest Mouse. Yes. But I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like this is kind of I would love to incorporate some of this in there too, but.
Which I feel like I heard there's like a lushness of sound, because I think that's what a lot of those bands, like whoever was on the Garden State soundtrack, right? Like
exactly.
all those bands are my favorite.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's my friend David. Like that was his scene for a while, and he's like, you got to listen to this soundtrack. Yeah,
just on repeat.
I didn't even see the movie. I just heard the soundtrack.
Wow, that's
There's
amazing.
the scene where they scream, right?
Yeah,
in the garbage bags.
Yeah,
that's what I know about Garden State.
It's on the cover
Zach
also.
Braff, that's it. That's my knowledge.
Zach Braff.
I've done no research.
Oh my gosh.
On Garden State.
I mean, do you love the soundtrack so much that you don't want to watch the movie just in case it ruins the soundtrack?
It's been a long time since I've heard the soundtrack, but I did really like it at the time, and I don't want the movie to ruin it for sure.
I want you to watch it and tell me what you think.
Think about it.
Yeah. Because you have so much time,
amongst I'm watching movies.
Yeah, being a parent obviously allows you a lot of free time.
Yeah. We watch Encanto.
Oh,
so
on
that
repeat.
has a dope soundtrack.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We don't talk about Bruno.
No, I was like, dare we even mention Bruno at this point?
We probably should stop. Just
do the whole movie. I know you know it back to front.
Oh yeah, I know the whole thing. Yeah. You got to get to know the family madrigal.
Yep.
Then you got the Under Pressure. We don't talk about Bruno. Surface Pressure. That's what it's called.
Good. So, I was like, Under Pressure? Someone stole that again?
Not Queen. Yeah.
It's like, man, the royalty battles on that song.
Yeah. Disney would never. Yeah.
So fast forward to, actually, I want to go back. So in 2022, the EP Happy, is that what Lee,
yes,
you were just
Lee
telling me
played
this.
on Make You Free. So that was right after On Hope. It was Make You Free.
Oh,
and Lee Pardini from Dawes.
Big Dawes fan. So
super kind of randomly ended up playing organ on that. And to be honest, that was a bit of a watershed moment. I think people, my drummer and keys player would say that was a watershed moment for us, because for me, coming from soul background and from gospel, up until that point of trying out records, coming from, I can play folk style and I'm trying to incorporate this gospel, and playing with rock and rollers and saying this is not quite it. When Lee sits down on an organ, something shifts where it's like, okay, no, that's the gospel sound you're going for. That's the soul roots that, you know what I mean? Like, think about my uncles and my brother and my family playing gospel organ in church. Mm-hmm. That's when it started to be like, okay, we're pivoting, we're shifting towards where we're headed. And I believe the next record after that was Still. Yeah. Which was kind of a solo EP that was trying to focus on like getting back to this sort of like retro Mississippi soul. Yeah. And that's where a lot of people pick up the Leon Bridges. It's like these sort of like backwater soul vibes that come out more in Still and center on organ and all that Mississippi gospel. So well, and that's kind of where I was getting to. You just put out a new album in 2025, Fool for You, which I feel like is the culmination of all of these things. I like to think that it is. Yeah. I tried to really take a lot of lessons that I learned over the years and say like, all these are a part of me. You know what I mean? Like, I've said this a million times, but when I often am interacting with students of some sort, they're asking me like, oh, they'll ask some version of the question like, I don't want to sound like somebody else. You know what I mean? So like, how do I find my sound? And I'm like, yeah, but you do sort of sound like that person. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be afraid of like, when you listen to Bill Withers, when I listen to Bill Withers, I'm like, something about that is my sound. Yeah. Not all of it, right? But there's a piece of me that's in that. So I need to figure out what it is and scoop it out. And then same thing with the Killers. Like, oh yeah, that doesn't seem like it might, fit in the same thing, but something's resonating. So I want to figure out what it is that's resonating and scoop that out too. And, nobody's an island. So you just are scoops of various artists, various experiences, your mother and father, your siblings, your friends, all those different things make up who you are. And that's how you find yourself. That's how you find your sound. So I really tried to like pay attention when making that. Making Fool for You of like, okay, what have I scooped out that feels like it needs to be in this record, and how do I make it feel cohesive? Because all the records previous, I could say like, oh, that's part of it, but it didn't feel comprehensive, or it didn't feel like the full collective. So I tried my best, and I feel really proud of that record, and feel like that's the best work I've done. So
absolutely love it. There's a layer of horns, which I know is like a big kind of achievement of like something you'd been wanting for a long time to incorporate, which really fills out the sound. And I think like I feel like I'm hearing the vision of what's going on in your head, because I talk about that a lot as a musician. Like sometimes it's so hard to put it on paper, kind of get it out of you how you hear it in your head. And I feel like this record,
and it's a privilege to work. And I've had, that's, you know, I can say this about my whole sort of career, is that it's a privilege to work with people that really know their stuff and can help you find that. So the horns, for instance, on that, I got to play a show opening for the Dip.
Yeah.
And talk shop with the Dip, you know, who are these just incredible musicians. And I just said, like, man, I'm making this new record. I wish I could have horns. I've been messing with these, you know, e-horns.
Yeah, like fake. I was like,
know?
Keyboard horns? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah, wah,
and
wah.
the look of disgust on their face. And they were like, don't do that. Like, let us play. Like, we will play for your record.
Wow.
So that's like, those are people that know horns.
Yeah.
They know their stuff. And so for them to sit down and for that to be my first experience with having horns in a record taught me a ton. And it feels like, okay, you know, I'm not always going to get a chance to, you know, they've got their own band, their own stuff, but they were willing to do that and teach me what it means to put together horn arrangements in soul music. And so, yeah, that was a real privilege and feels like, okay, now I can never go back.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You can never take the organ back out. You can never take, you know, you got to just kind of keep trying to push forward and learning more each record. So,
yeah. Well, there was background vocals of like other people, right? Because I feel like earlier records, you did a lot of self-harmonizing, which is great.
I still do a lot of self-harmonizing.
That's fair. You got a very specific tone. Your vocal tone is insane.
I think that's part of the problem is sometimes I don't mix well with others. Mm-hmm. If I'm singing background vocals for somebody else, I find it easier to like match them.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's wrong with my voice. It's
what do you mean?
It's a freak show.
Perfect.
It's like
James?
It's got so many different weird things that, you know, I've tried to like train over the years and find, you know, okay, here's how I'm going to sing. It's different than pre-notes. It's different than when I was a kid singing gospel. It's different than all those things. So sometimes I should do it myself.
Yeah, well, okay, that's fair. That's fair. And you do have a really unique like texture is what I love about your voice is there's like this grit, but it's like a soft grit, like I wish I knew the like sandpaper count that I'm trying to go for, but it's that.
I do cabinets too,
yeah,
so it's like a 320.
Okay, you know? Thank you. Yeah, my husband's a woodworker, so I'm failing
so
really hard
right now. Right now, he'll be like, oh, that's a fine grit. That's nice.
Yeah, with like a little steel wool action.
Yeah, just a light.
Very light. No, but it makes sense that's you kind of need to do your own. But it was also nice to me sometimes having the contrast, like the female backup vocals that you had, kind of
that's
allows
my friend Emily, who is she's an incredible singer, and we've been singing together since we were kids. So, so it's cool to get to work with her. So.
Okay, talking about nodes, when did that develop? What happened?
At the end of my high school career, sometime during my senior year, I was just doing a lot of vocal things of different varieties. So I was, you know, singing in choir and show choir as one does, and jazz hands and all that sort of stuff.
You got to show choir.
Yep, and doing like, it was my first year really doing like musical theater too. I wanted to try to get into some of that. And I was singing in my church choir, of course, you know, singing gospel, which can be hard in your voice if you don't sing properly. Yeah. And I was also playing football and like screaming.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
On the football
all these
field.
Things. Yeah.
So it just was like a lot of things. And yeah, I remember my choir teacher being like, your voice has always been crystal clear and it is getting very gritty in a bad way, you know, not a 320. We're talking about a 100 or
I was
below.
Like 60. How bad was it? Oh my gosh.
And so, you know, it was tough, and I had gotten a vocal music scholarship, and I was going to go and sing in college, and my first year of college was just like, it was vocal therapy, and it was very hard on my voice. Like they did a great job of trying to help me rectify some bad habits, and, you know, singing laying on your back and, you know, all that sort of stuff to try to rectify it. And ultimately I said I can't major in music. I can't be a vocal performance major because it's too hard. And that's partially why I was like, I got to get in on this guitar thing because I got to do something. Like, if I'm not going to be able to sing anymore, I need to have an outlet of some sort.
That's like I'm
Oh my
devastated.
goodness, yeah,
thinking about it.
it was really tough, and I sort of like powered through. You just keep trying different things, and eventually it starts coming back in some ways and not others. I mean, I probably spent 3 years having no falsetto, right? For instance, like could not sing in falsetto at all. I forgot about that until this moment. That was terrible. You just reminded me of deep
trauma. Well, that's what we do here. We just bring up trauma in a
know.
very cozy, friendly way.
But it's been really cool to see it come back and get to like try different things. And honestly, I got to like go on The Voice.
I know. I was going to say, this makes me think of your experience there because I watched the video and I got pissed off, I'm going to say.
My mom has not forgiven John Legend yet. But,
I mean, love you, John, but because did they know? I mean, they probably didn't know. Was that post?
No, I to be honest, I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where I knew when it was happening that I was sort of like, I'm going to go into this and have the most fun. That was my goal, was to just like keep it super fun and to enjoy the experience. Because it's like playing with house money. It's the middle of a pandemic. And like, I'm not playing any shows, like all those sort of things. So I definitely had friends and people that went into that like, I'm here to win, And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to win. However, I hope to learn a lot. And that was, the reason I bring it up is because some of the people there that are working with your vocals, I would be like, oh, I can't sing that, right? I can't do that. And I remember one of the guys stopped me and goes, oh, hold on. I want you to stop saying that. He's like, go back to your hotel room, put on your voice memos, and sing 50 times through this part that you say you can't sing. And 49 are going to suck. And he's like, but you're going to hit one that you can sustain, one that's like, oh, that's the way my voice sings that. One that's, is the proper way for you to sing this part. And so it really reframed like what my vocal capability was after years of being like, I just can't. I don't have whatever that is, I'm not going to get that back, or my falsetto, or, that sort of head voice range or mixed voice range, I should say. So that was the thing I took away most was actually really good people trying to reframe your brain of like, what's possible for you as a singer? Like, you're here for a reason, right? Like, you have skill and you have potential and all those sort of things. And no, you may not win. I knew who was going to win as soon as I heard him sing for the first time, too. That's how I know the show wasn't rigged.
Oh, okay.
Or at least at the highest level it wasn't.
Right.
But my buddy Cam, the first time I heard him sing, I was like, whew.
Man, sometimes some people...
That's different. There's
like
levels.
Demi Lovato, I'm like, I can't
there's
do that.
levels to the thing. I was like, well, GG's. I had a good time.
Well, because you were on the same season as Rain Stern, who we've had on the show.
I saw that she was on the show. She's super great. So.
They're incredible. But I didn't even connect that at the time. How did that opportunity come about? Was someone scouting Iowa?
No.
I
really,
guess
it was the pandemic, and I must have gotten a message or something that said like, hey, this is the, online.
So they slid into your DMs.
I can't remember if it was on the DMs or if I saw it just like on something.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my wife like, oh, like I've never wanted to do one of those shows. I feel like mortified by like I don't want to I don't know how to put it, but reality shows, for instance, they make me feel a little bit like, ooh, I wouldn't want people to see, like that side of myself.
Well, because it's out of your control how they frame it.
Out of control, yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, yeah.
But I said something like, this would be hilarious to do. You know what I mean? Like, this would be, not in a like making fun of the show, but more in like, that'd be so out of character for me. But she's like, you should do it then. You know what I mean? Like, now is the time to do it. Like, you're not doing anything. You're not playing shows or whatever.
You can't play shows. Oh.
And I was like, well, whatever. You're right. Like, I'm not doing anything. And she's like, I knew you were going to get on at that moment, And I was like,
because you didn't care. Because you're like, I don't care. I don't want it. And they're like, ooh, we want him.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of fun and random. And it's like 7 auditions. It's kind of a big, intense process. So it's like, the further it goes, the more you're like, this is getting serious. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having to talk to producers and all that sort of stuff. So it was fun, really random and cool experience and great people. That's the other thing. It's like, everywhere you go, there are amazing people that you can learn from. So Rain, for instance, I saw them, just shredding guitar, and I'm like, you got to teach me something. And they just taught me like, hey, here's a pattern. Do it in your room over and over again. Make sure you go front to back. You got to be as successful one way or as the other. That taught me so much about guitar and soloing, and I'm still working on that. But like, it would be such a shame to miss an opportunity to like hear somebody like Rain play guitar and be like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. Like, no, like we're in LA for at least a month together. Get me better at guitar. Yeah.
We want to thank our episode sponsor, Uptempo Music. It's a great spot whether you're a beginner or a gigging musician. They've been in business for over 23 years in Beaverdale, so come check them out.
Somebody taught me this little like neo soul lick that I used on "Fool for You."
Oh wow!
I'm gonna take that and write a song around it. You know? So all the people I met were great. Dibs, exactly.
Wow,
Dibs still counts during the pandemic.
It does.
And I took advantage of that rule. So yeah.
And I was curious about your experience, and I should explain the judges. No one turned around, which is ridiculous. Let me be mad for you because you're not mad, but I was mad. No, I thought you took it with total grace, and
Nick
anything
Jonas said I seemed like a cool guy.
You did
so
helped. Yes, you did seem like a cool guy, and they said that, and it did help. I think, but I mean, help soften the blow a little bit. But I thought everything I've heard you say about it, just like now, has been really positive, and you took the experience. I think it helped going into it kind of being like, I'm just here for the ride and going to see what happens. But I thought they were saying you were pitchy, and I was like, no. And especially knowing now, like how you had to build your falsetto back up and build your voice back up. And I'm like, do you know what he had to go through?
That was because of that, vocal coach saying like, go for it. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to go for it. Yeah. I'm going to rip a falsetto in this thing and see what happens. So I felt good about that too. I'm like, I'll try it. Why not? So
and I want to call it, you're a lifter. Like you've done weightlifting. And so that's where my mind goes to, of you never think you can get up to that weight, or you don't think you can do that many reps. And then it's like, but if I build it and I work on it.
That's actually really good. Yeah. Because like, this is so stupid. The listeners are not going to care about this at all. However, it's sort of similar to the node thing, but when I lifted as a young person, as a high schooler, you never stretch.
Oh, right?
Yeah. You don't pay attention to that. You're like, I'm trying to get as much weight as possible. And whatever, So now I have all these issues that I have to like work out in my body. And it's like, for me, the best part about it is seeing me able to do things with better form. Right. Because of, because I'm working on the mobility piece of it and not just the lifting piece. And that's similar to singing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go back and say, like, I need technique now. Yeah. I can't just go rip it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just sing a show without warming up like I did when I was, 20 or something. Like, it just wears in your voice in a different way. So that's part of it. It's just learning how to, like, that's the 50 takes. Yeah. You got to keep doing different forms until you find the proper one that you're supposed to use, and then train at that form. So. Right. Really good.
No, that's what I think about, right? Because there was a time where I was going to the gym and lifting more regularly, and I think about that a lot. Of like, you don't just get there in even a day or a week or it takes time, and sometimes the things that you could do 3 months ago you can't do on the day. I think that's where I get caught up sometimes. Is I'm like, but I hit a high A the other day, or it's like I just can't.
Going
do it
back
today.
to it is rough sometimes.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, you just posted you how many pounds? You just had a PR or what? It was like 8,000 pounds.
It was 8,000 pounds. It was my first time lifting 8,000 pounds. Really
good. You did it flawlessly. I didn't even, you weren't squished at all.
Yeah,
Nothing
it was
happened.
not squished. It was good.
No, I was impressed. I was like, okay, this man can sing, he can lift, No, I appreciate you sharing kind of more about that experience though with the voice, and because I was curious if it kind of led you to feeling more solidified in who you are, even with the kind of like poor how do I put it? Like the less than ideal end of how that went, like it didn't maybe end how you wanted. Yeah. But I feel like, again, even seeing you in that show in that moment, I feel like I'm like, no, but James knows who he is and what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I can say about that experience was the record that came after it.
Right, yeah.
Because still felt to me and to Tyler, who's my drummer and keys player, who we sort of partner on these records now.
Yeah.
That felt like a breakthrough of some sort. You know what I mean? It was super lo-fi. It was during the middle of the pandemic, so it's like I would record something, I'd send it to Tyler, he'd record something, he'd send it back. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't use any producers or engineers. We just figured it out. We knew nothing about recording. We're like buying Logic and buying plugins and watching YouTube videos, you know? But there was something that was just like, oh, this is it. We're finding it. We're finding the actual sound that we've been going for. And that was, people will give me grief about this, but that was the first record I could say, like, I'm 100% proud of. You know what I mean? Like, every other record I listen to, I know I'm the biggest critic. People give it to me all the time. But, like, every other record I can listen to and say, like, that was off, or I wish I could have done this, or knew the language to tell my producer that I'm looking for this sound, or that was a little, you know, like, I'm nitpicky.
Sure.
And that record is not perfect. It's actually, like I said, super lo-fi and super, you know.
Yeah, you got the, like, vocal effect, like the kind of tape
it's
sounding
like super,
lo-fi.
like, you know, like tinny and, you know, that sort of stuff. But start to finish, I'm like, I'm proud of those songs. And that felt like what it should be. You know what I mean? It felt like what I was going for. Yeah. To the point where I'm like, one day I would love to even like re-record them. In a real studio with a, you know, somebody who knows what they're doing.
Still. Because we still be stealing.
Still. Exactly. I like that. Yeah. Still, what is it? Still to better. What's the it's like Revenge of the Still. Or something like that.
Right, like Revenge of the Still.
Something that they could tag
still
on the
brewing.
end of it. Yeah.
Still, just Yeah. Distilled. How about that?
I like that.
Okay, we better stop. Otherwise, I'll just use the rest of the time. No, I actually wanted to talk about kind of your creative process. And you mentioned Tyler, who's a longtime friend and partner and musician who's played on your records. I was curious. There's a song that I feel like didn't make any of the records. Start Again. Is that on anything?
It's not. No, it's not on
anything. Because
you
played it live.
This is very impressive research. He's
actually just creeped out and doesn't want to say anything.
Actually, it's a little too impressive.
He's like, what? What did you... He's like, what did I have for breakfast? I'm like, I
noticed you use Brilliant White crust. What do you think?
I'm more of a sensitive girly. Sorry, because I have sensitive teeth. No one needed to know that. No, I was just curious because I feel like, again, you've done really well in recording. Like you've put out a lot of music, which I think is a big challenge for musicians sometimes, is just to get it out. Yeah. And so I was curious, I'm like, is Start Again like in your back pocket for another record, or is it just never quite fit?
You know, I just sit down in the chair and write. Every morning I get up, I sit in the chair and I write. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think that so many of those things are gonna, you know, make a record or something. Maybe they will, you know, but people, you know, it's the old Dolly Parton where she's like, I wrote I Will Always Love You, and what's the other one?
Working 9 to 5, that one?
I don't know. There's two of them that she wrote in the same day or something. You know?
Oh.
And people are like, that's amazing. And she's like, well, no, I wrote thousands of songs. Yeah. That day I just happened to be, you know what I mean? Like, it takes all of the practice of songwriting until you can feel like you're like, okay, now today I hit it on these two, you know? So I think part of it's like, maybe it didn't fit a record, but it also felt like, oh, that's a song that just, it feels good and we really like it, but I didn't really write it to be on a record per se, you know what I mean? I just wrote it. Like, I have like over 10,000 voice memos. Yeah. Of just like, you just keep writing and trying things. Or Tyler and I sometimes the first record that we wrote during the pandemic was called Late Bloomer, which is actually the name of my next record. Bringing it back. But we'll sit down and listen to those old files and be like, you know, that was actually a good one. And we threw it all in the trash. It's going to stay there, you know, not in the, you know, trash, but like, those are good songs. Yeah. Cool. And that's it.
Next.
You know? They don't need to come back out, but you know, you learn something everything you write. So
no, that's true. I have a running like Google Doc with lyrics and things. And the funniest thing to me is like, I kind of go in stints. I feel like where I get really inspired, I'll write things down, and then months will go by and I'll go back and look at it and be like, what was I smoking? Or like, who was I mad at that day? Or what was I feeling to write this very, you know?
They asked me at the songwriters conference in Iowa City, somebody asked the panel a question of like, you know, do you ever like, you know, have that thing where you wake up in the middle of the night and you write a song and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh man, like that was brilliant. Like I was inspired. I was like, never. I have the thing where I wake up and I like do a voice memo and without fail in the morning, I'm like, why did I wake up for that? Like, this is so bad.
Yeah. Oh no.
Like 2 a.m. is not the time for me to really get in my bag.
I was thinking maybe you were just a deep sleeper and
oh
just
yeah,
never
I'm like drunk when I wake up because I'm like so tired in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, no.
Like what did I? And it's like,
something.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're like, oh god.
I'm trying to sing really quiet too. They can barely even hear it. I'm like, that's just not worth it.
Okay,
so,
that's real. I've totally had that happen where I was like laying in bed trying to go to sleep and I had an idea, so I like crept. I know I have a voice memo somewhere. Maybe I'm like. Like really quiet, so I'm not.
Sounds like you're so shy about singing this song because you know it's bad.
Right.
In the morning you're gonna regret it. So yeah,
like, not ready for my husband to hear this.
Yeah,
yeah. I was actually wondering, because you are so prolific, has there ever been a song like inspiration that's surprised you? Something that you've written that you kind of weren't expecting? Because you write very personally.
Yeah,
you've talked in depth about how. There's been whole records about your wife and, you know, like very, very personal. But I was kind of curious if there's ever been something outside the box that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually, one example, I think it's more, how would I word it? I don't know that anything sort of surprises me in terms of like, I write in every genre. And then I try to I'll either take a song that I'm like, oh, that feels really poppy. And I'll be like, how do I bring it into my soul realm?
Yeah.
Or else I'll just be like, this is a pop song and I'm going to write it, you know?
Yeah.
So every now and then there'll be a song that makes a record that sort of stands out in my mind as like that doesn't really fit the rest of the record, but it's going on. So the song Fool For You from the last record is a good example. Where for whatever reason it felt like, hey, this is a synthy, you know, more upbeat sort of pop song that's gonna, you know. And then what I tagged on what I found to be like kind of a more soulful ending to it.
Yeah,
but it's got like synth and like a lot of like that like I don't even know, like reverby, whiny guitar, like kind of ambiance to it. I'm like, that doesn't fit the record. What's going on? You know? So
I mean,
that sort of surprised
and I'll
me
name
sometimes.
the record after it.
And
Why
I'll
not?
and I'll name the record after
it's the titular song,
exactly.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's cool to spread your wings in those moments, because also I feel like you've built that trust with your audience, right? Because of like the things that you've already put out, and we know you do quality work, and so I think it's cool to see like, ooh, he's coloring outside the lines. What is that?
Yeah. It's always like, you know, I mean, you know, like you want to stay true to yourself and not get too like out of the box sometimes, I think. But also like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm like, if I like it,
I like it. Exactly.
I like it, you know?
So
like, it might disappoint somebody. I like it, you know? So I try to also just throw things out, you know?
This is what I say, and maybe I've said this before on this podcast, but I asked my dad like years ago, like, how do you know when wine is good? Like, why do you know that's a better wine than the other wine? He's like, because I like it. And I was like, what? You know, I mean, like at the end of the day, music, especially in art, is so subjective. So it's like,
for sure,
you know, if it feels good.
And people, you know, I feel like I've answered a million times, people saying like, what's your why? What's your inspiration? What's your, you know, whatever. And I sort of stopped answering it because I'm like, I just like it.
Yeah.
I just do it. You know what I mean? Like, why am I a songwriter? I don't know. But it feels really, exactly. It feels really natural and good to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like we waste a lot of time trying to like figure out the magic sauce. And it's just like, do what feels natural to you.
Yeah.
If it works for you, then great. And, you know, if it doesn't, then that's not the thing. You know, like, it doesn't even have to be like a success. It's just like, does it feel right to you? Great. Yeah. That's your thing.
And sometimes it varies by the day, I feel like, too.
Sure,
you know, like if you ask me on one day what my why is, it's going to be different than a different day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I also think that kind of, I don't want to say laid back, but that like comfortable vibe that you were just talking about comes through when you perform, too. And I think it's what makes you so enjoyable to watch is there's kind of like an effortlessness in the sense of you like release yourself in that moment and you're just kind of you're there. You're living it with the rest of us.
Yeah, when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
Like I said,
you mentioned being kind of like an introvert or like introspective.
Yes, yeah.
Like you go into your own head.
Introverted and I have a strong inner monologue that is often critical.
Oh no.
So,
you're like, you suck.
Yeah, exactly.
So sucks.
Yeah, like we're one for, my friend Alex, and my wife is the same way, but he'll talk about playing soccer. He's a great soccer player. And they're like, what are you thinking about? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, nothing?
Nothing?
He's like, nothing's going on in there. I'm just
ball,
ripping it.
Kick, run,
Yeah. It's just nothing. I'm like, I'm thinking about everything.
Oh,
you know
you're
what I
like,
mean?
I'm going through third grade. When
exactly.
I said that thing to the
like,
teacher.
That talent show where I hit the wrong note. That's the same. I'm that same kid, So it's taken me a lot of effort to like get to like cut loose and enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I bet it does. You do bring
I do a lot better job
Yeah.
now. And a lot of times it's like finding somebody out there. And I'm like, that person is not thinking about third grade. I'm going
to think about what they're thinking about.
They're not thinking about that one chord you flubbed 4 songs ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That
nobody knows, actually.
Yeah, like, or, just looking around and being like, I think I have a much better understanding now that I'm a little older of like how much I've developed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not saying like, oh, I've made it. But like you think about Red Hot Riot and you're like, man, I remember what that was like to not understand what I was doing, not know the chords I was playing, not know what to tell a producer, not know, you know what I mean? Like not know my, any of that stuff and just be like, all right, I'm just ripping it. And then years later be like, oh, like I've learned so much. I've gotten to play with great bands. You know what I mean? I'm looking around and I'm like, look at these musicians that I'm with now who I spent so much time with. Like the gratitude, I think, helps you cut loose a little bit and be like, look at you, you're doing it.
You're doing
a fun thing that you love.
Yeah.
And you get to do it. You get to do it every week, You get to play things that you never thought you would be able to play, So
Open for bands like Lake Street Dive, which is another,
Lake Street Dive and The Dip and The Warren Treaty and all these like great bands. And I'm like, oh, I love these bands and I get to play with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I get to play with my favorite band. Like if you have that, I think trying to have that sort of gratitude helps to get out of your own head and get out of your own way. And
combat the imposter syndrome.
Which is such a weird syndrome because it's like you don't belong doing the thing that you love to do.
I know. To me, it's the balance. It's because you have to teeter between being confident enough that you own what you're doing, but also having like the humility at the same time.
For sure.
I think it's really difficult because you know the artists that have too much ego. Right? You see them and you're like, I hate that guy or whatever. but then you also see the artists where you're like, oh, I wish you were feeling yourself more in this moment. And I feel like I feel like half of it is that where it's like, am I looking cool, but not too cool, but cool.
And that's actually something I learned watching the Warren Treaty. They end all their shows, they like come off the stage and they sing at the back door and they just shake everybody's hand. And it's this like it's such a humble ending to a show to be like, I'm just grateful for you guys being here. You know what I mean? And like that's what I mean by like finding somebody's there to watch you. You're like, man, like, I can't believe somebody paid money. You know what I mean?
Y'all paid money for this?
Exactly. And you just like, that's
so true.
That's incredible. It's so cool that people like want to spend their time listening to things that you wrote in your bedroom and, one of your 10,000 voice memos, that made it out, That's
I want to hear some
humbling.
Samples. I want to hear some.
Oh, gosh.
I want to hear
some will be fine and some you're like, nope, no.
I want to hear the trash samples. Please.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of those.
Well, James, I could watch you play all day. Actually, literally tonight, which is in the past when this comes out, but I'm gonna go see tonight, which I'm so excited.
I'm excited about it. Yeah.
What else do you have coming up this year for live shows?
Yeah. Well, for live shows, I don't know. I'm kind of filling up my schedule now with various things this summer. So I'll be around quite a bit. I'm doing a lot of focus on the new record this spring. So that's sort of where my head is right now. I'm booking things and I'm like, I'll check that date later.
Yeah.
I'll put that in my calendar later. I got to focus on finishing this thing. So.
Well, and this is amidst, are you still running a nonprofit as well in Iowa City?
No.
No? Okay. I was like, how are you?
I was about to ask how you. I'm still
amazing.
the president of the board.
Sure.
So that.
Yeah. So you do nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I'm like, the board looks good.
You're like, am I saying English?
That's my understand. I'm like, somebody's second, something I just said, I guess.
Somebody's second, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of imposter syndrome, I'm like, I started one. I help, keep going, but, my wife does all the work. So,
yeah. And you're a parent. That's what I was getting at. It's like you're juggling a lot of things too.
My kind of day, I do a lot of home building now. I just sort of random. So I get to build things and listen to my voice memos and ebooks and,
You're like the singing construction man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like to build them with like a lot of good acoustics, just in case.
Yes. Yeah.
In case,
They're like, why do we need sound panels? Yeah, you're like, no, just listen. Just listen.
Hear me out. You have me over.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So, We'll do a home. They're like, what? We didn't expect to have DIY concerts at our house. You're like, that's what you get.
Expect the unexpected.
When I build it.
Yeah.
Well, James, I hope you play more this summer and coming into the fall and everything. Yeah. And I hope everyone goes and sees you live because you need to go see James. You're just an incredible performer. I'm tripping over my words because I think I'm so nervous because you're so great.
I've been thinking your vocabulary is actually pretty impressive. You pulled out some words today that I'm like,
no, actually, okay, wait, we're not done because I want to talk about this just for 5 minutes because I'm impressed by your vocabulary.
Person, so I notice when people are bringing out slanging some words, some grammar.
No, because your lead-off track on the latest record is "Somnolent Love."
Yeah.
And
it's excessive.
No, but it's great. I love it. There was another, there was a word like a producer was talking about. Like I don't think I've ever heard someone. What was it?
Gosh, what song?
I can't think of what. Taciturn. It was Taciturn, and I was like, I need to what. I think it's incredible. That's something that I admire about your songwriting is I think you really incorporate, because English can actually be very beautiful. And I say this as someone who's studied other languages and
words. I love
prefer like Portuguese. I love it's so beautiful. And I feel like other languages sometimes do a better job of using their language than we do. And we get stuck in the ruts. And I feel like you just do a really good job of exploring that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just a little weird. I love to read.
And
so I'll make a list and be like, oh, that was a good
one.
You know what I mean? Gotta look that one up
that
later.
Into a song.
Exactly.
Just write a whole song around a word.
I'll write a little, I used to write out the definition. So I'm like, when that comes up again, I'll know what it means. You know what I mean?
That's solid.
My mom used to make us literally read the dictionary. She'd be like, find 10 new words. And I'd be like, this is the worst. But now as an adult, I'm like,
I kind of love this, but it was probably the worst.
I know some words now. It's good. So,
I'd be like, give me the thesaurus. I don't want the dictionary.
I love a good thesaurus.
Love a good.
I use a thesaurus for every song I write.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's another way I could say this?
Yeah.
I love that.
Just in case. It's nice to get a word. Like maybe you're still going to use the first word. Yeah. But it's
nice to see what's out there. Yeah.
Because sometimes you're like, I forgot about that old word
taciturn.
That's
a good one. Yeah, exactly.
Just what I want to fit in there. Yeah. Well, I love it. And Somnolent Love is a beautiful song.
Thank you.
The whole record is gorgeous. Again, Fool for You. It just came out last year. Check it out. Check out all your other records. You can find them streaming, also on Bandcamp and those things. So, James, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So fun.
Such a delight. And thank you, I should say, for playing Hold Me live in studio, which you're going to hear right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we'll use that, but we got it.
Smooth transition.
Show me there's somebody out there that knows me. Make me feel lovely just knowing you love me. Hold me in your arms.
In the Round is produced and recorded at Trilix Studio. Remember to subscribe to In the Round wherever podcasts are found.
We are troubadour muse. So I leave myself home and you leave me song. Something lovely I can use.